What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Notorious HFL podcast, and I'm your host, the Notorious HFL, aka Huge Fat Loser, on Instagram, and Aaron Lohman in real life. It's been on a hiatus for a little bit, so I just want to welcome all of you back, and this will be the first of many new episodes. There's going to be different types of episodes. I'm going to have guests on in studio via Zoom, whichever way we can get it done, we're going to get it done. But I've been busy doing many things out there. And the truth is, it wasn't until somebody recently approached me and said, "Hey, what's going on with the podcast?" that I realized, hey, you know what? Let me get this podcast going again. And, I have a lot to say. I have a lot of interesting people in my life. There's a lot of people I really just want to sit down and talk to. And it could be fitness related, not fitness related, anything. I'm genuinely interested in anybody who's good at their craft. So if you're listening to this episode, you know somebody, or maybe it's you want to be on, you got something to say. Uh, you know, there's certain people I don't want to have on. I don't want to have people on who are just gonna be angry and yell at things and cause controversy. Because if you know me, like I just want to spread love. Sometimes that love is tough love, as we all know. But it all comes from a place of love and care. And I don't want to tear people down. I just want to build people up. I don't like to talk about politics. I don't like to talk about that stuff because, listen, we all know it exists. We are not stupid. We see it out there all the time. And, some of us like to listen to podcasts or seek out entertainment that takes us out of that world because that we're just surrounded by it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want to go on social media, we want to go to the gym, we want to do this stuff, we want to be inspired, we want to feel uplifted, we want to laugh at something, we want to be entertained. We don't want to listen to that shit that we just hear all the time. Okay. And unfortunately, too many people out there love to make it their entire personality and identity. And it seems that, you know, people make a good living off making people angry. Unfortunately, people that I used to really love and care about and really like and enjoy following on social media, they just got sucked into this whole world, and now that's just their whole personality. And genuinely, like, I feel sad for them that they have to live that way. But I'm not that way, so I don't want to have those type of people on. I want to have good people on. I want to hear good stories. I want to listen to things, learn things. I want to educate my audience on things. I want my audience to discover new people they never heard of before, and I want to change the world. Change the way people look at things. So, what have I been up to lately? Over the last year and a half, where I put this on a hiatus, I've been up to a lot of projects. I got them here, so let me talk about them for those of you who are watching this on YouTube. You guys will get a nice visual of what this is. But the first thing I put together was this book here called Starting Over. It's called How I Learned How to Stop Being an Asshole and Lost 175 pounds in the process. And it's a book that I put together. Listen, it's not an autobiography. Yeah, there's some autobiographical things in there, but for the most part, it's the steps that I took to not be an asshole. About 5, 6 years ago now, I was at the point where I was very miserable, very upset, depressed, and I was just negative all the time. Just what I just talked about. There's plenty of people out there who are negative all the time, and that's all I can. That's all I can talk about. That's all I could think of. And I was one of those people. I was the person on social media who was so angry, talking shit about everything, being the ultimate hater, hating on everything, thinking that I was miserable. And it wasn't until I took steps that I go to in this book, how to change my brain. And as soon as I started changing my brain and how I thought about things, then and only then did I start to transform my body as well. Because I realized that a lot of the things that I was doing were my fault. Um, mainly I was treating myself like shit. I was treating everybody around me like shit. I was making excuses because I didn't love myself. And I just had this negative perspective. When you get a negative perspective around things, you start to blame everybody else but yourself. I wasn't having any self accountability. And honestly, self accountability is the biggest issue that we face as a society these days is we blame everybody else for our decisions. We blame everybody else for our actions. We give everybody else the power over us or the perceived power that we think they have, but we really have more power and control over our own lives than we believe. It's a lot because the problem is it's a lot easier for us to give that power and control over to social media or politics or your job or something else that may get in your way. But it's up to us ultimately to make that decision to make those things not get in our way. Okay. Whether you want to look at it like that or not, I don't really care. I lived it. I coach people all the time. I help people get through it and realize that the behaviors that they're having are severely affecting them and affecting their life. Okay. And a lot of people, they don't realize it until like you really have to sit them down and shake them out of it. Some people will never realize. Some people will just think that, hey, listen, I'm raising awareness. I'm just, this is the way the world is. You can't just ignore it and turn a blind eye, but you can't control a lot of that shit, but you can't control what goes on in your own life. And the truth is, if you're that miserable and you're that pissed off and you're that ragey about everything all the time, that's definitely rubbing off on your family and the people who are around you and the way that you treat the rest of your life. If you go through the rest of your life angry, because you're angry at one thing, you're really fucking up. And you really need to introspectively look at yourself, the behaviors that you have, the negative thoughts that you have, um, how you perceive your relationships. Relationships is huge. Who do you surround yourself with? And obviously, of course, how you treat your body, the exercise that you do, what you put in it. That's why this book also includes 30 recipes that I use throughout my journey to help me get in shape. And it's all about that. The other projects that I was working on was a set of journals, and the first one here that I made is for kids. It's called My Happy Place. It's available on Amazon, and what it is if you open it up here, it's a gratitude practice for kids because a lot of us and kids get caught up in social media, get caught up in the negativity, all this stuff. So it's just a chance to ground themselves and to ground themselves with you. You could do this exercise with them. There's no reason they need to do it by themselves. You go in there, it gives them a list of things that they were thankful for, things that made them happy throughout the day. And then the next page is to draw a drawing of whatever the prompt is for that day. So, and it's going to be something that triggers a positive emotion in their brain so that they think positively, they think gratefully, and they do that sort of thing. The other two books that I was working on, same realm, gratitude, journaling. Journaling is very important. Writing things down, documenting things. Some of us don't journal. Some of us make podcasts. Some of us do both, right? But it's always important to get those thoughts out there and just breathe a little bit. Let the brain breathe, and even breathe yourself. So journaling is very important. People don't realize how many people throughout history back then and now journaled or wrote things down and the importance of it. And unfortunately, with this fake bullshit, alpha male, toxic, whatever the hell you want to call it, um, it's like, oh, you journal, you write things down. What a loser! What a loser writes things down, And this perpetuation of what a man is and what a man shouldn't be is just like drilled into our heads since we were kids. And you know, that thing is we need to get away from that because throughout history, journaling has been one of the things that some of the most famous people, most influential people on earth have done. And that includes, a lot of people that I list in this book right here. And I understand the apprehensiveness and that people don't want to journal. People don't want to make these things happen. So what they do is they convince themselves that journaling is a weak activity. But I can assure you this of now, journaling is a very, very strong, important activity. And the reason it's a strong activity is because self-reflection is the hardest thing you could possibly do. Getting inside your own head, inside your own brain is one of the most important things you can do because you're never going to change. You're always going to be the same type of person. And this is what I talk about in my first book too, that I showed you starting over, is that unless you make those mental changes, you're never going to change anything else in your life. You're just going to keep looking at things in the same way. And you're never going to progress. You're never going to get better. You're always going to be stuck in the same spot. And we don't want that. We don't want to be the same people. We don't want to be in the same spot. We want to evolve. We want to get better. We want to do those things. But I understand that apprehensiveness. That's why I recreated this journal, the first journal that somebody who does not like journaling should look at, right? And it's called the journal, literally for people who hate journaling, the journal for people who hate journaling. And the reason what's in this book here is right at the beginning, it gives a list of people throughout history who have journaled from present day back to, a long time ago. And every couple pages, it'll give a quote from that person. And I think it's important. It'll let you reflect on that quote. A lot of the prompts are just based on things in your life. So, something that made you happy, or ask you to draw a small picture of something. Oh, draw a small picture of a birthday cake that you had when you were a kid. You'd be like, what is this? Why would I draw a picture of a birthday cake when I had when I was a kid? Well, you don't realize that psychologically, that small drawing of that birthday cake that you did triggered a memory in your brain of a positive moment that you had when you were a kid, of a birthday party, or maybe it was a birthday party that you were at, right? And we forget those positive things in our lives because we have a negativity bias in our brain. So you learn to rewire your brain in that way. Now, the second journal that I created is called Grateful AF, right here. And it's a daily gratitude workbook where you write down things you were grateful for, hard things you accomplished, things you're proud of, things that were special to you. And there are prompts in there for those things. And then the goal is to reflect on those positive things. So you begin to live a more positive, fulfilled life. Okay. Because what happens is, because of our negativity bias, like I stated before, we get caught up in that negative shit. It's what dominates the forefront of our brain almost on a continuous basis. And we forget the good things that happen because it's so easy to forget those good things because we take them for granted. But instead of doing that, we really need to get back into that positive mindset, thinking about those things and making those things the most important, most special things, because that's what makes life worth living. So we have those right there. And then the last thing that I created was a 62-day progressive workout program. It's available on my website, the link in my social media bios. Essentially, there was no beginner workout programs that existed, in my opinion, that really were beginner workout programs. We've all seen these videos of beginner workout programs where it's just some dude doing upside down trapeze, swinging pull-ups from their legs. They're like, oh, check out this beginner workout. Oh, here's a 45-minute plank for a beginner. No, dude, that's not what beginners is. And unfortunately, in the fitness industry, a lot of people get caught up because they always worked out. They always exercised. So what it was a beginner for them has no apps. They have no clue what it's like to be a true beginner. Somebody who has been overweight, somebody who has been obese, somebody who has had problems, somebody who's afraid of the gym, somebody who's intimidated by the gym, somebody who's older, a child even, and they have no idea what it's like to actually start from zero. So that's why I started this 62-day progressive workout program, because it's a program for real people who really need to start something and they're afraid to go to the gym. They're afraid to ask for help. They don't have the money for a personal trainer or a nutritionist or anything like that. So I made it a reasonable price, $50 you pay. It's a 10-week program. Essentially, there's 10 modules and you watch the modules. Every module has a piece of information in it where you learn about the fitness industry, you learn about supplements, you learn about nutrition, you learn about deceptive labeling on products, you learn about all these things that play into the fitness industry as a whole and yourself, to educate yourself on how to move forward. Because my goal with this program, I don't have time to coach people. I cannot coach people. My goal in this program is to give you those first 62 days to build this brain up here and create healthy habits over 62 days and educate you so you can move on for yourself and start maybe helping other people, maybe getting better in the gym, and keep those 62 days of healthy habits rolling with that education that I provide that you need. So you won't need a personal trainer anymore. You don't need a coach anymore if you don't want to have one, and you have that knowledge to continue onward. Um, there's 3 different levels, and each level is a different progressive of difficulty. Some people like the difficult level, some people like the regular level, and some people like, the very, very easy level. And the easy level is there because it's designed for people who have a hard time getting up and down out of the couch. There's a lot of people out there, including myself when I first started, who had a hard time just even getting up and down off the couch. That's why the workouts start very slow, very progressive, because the most important thing when it comes to any workout nutrition program is that you want to be able to stick to it. You want to create that habit, because you can go to the gym and crush yourself 2 days a week, but it doesn't mean anything if you quit. So even if the workouts seem easy to you, it's not meant to be, oh my God, this workout kicked my ass today. When you get towards the end of the program, they get a little bit more difficult and progressive, obviously, because it's a progressive program. But at the beginning, they're going to seem very easy. They're going to be like, why is this so easy? It's because I don't really care about kicking your ass at the beginning. I don't want to kick your ass at the beginning. What I want to do at the beginning is get you used to doing something every single day to help yourself. So this way, it becomes like brushing your teeth, like tying your sneakers, like anything else that you would do throughout that day that you normally do, and creating those healthy habits. And like I said, the education piece is also a super important part of it. Um, and those are the projects I've been working on. I've been working on a couple more things, and I wanted to bring the podcast back. Somebody actually sent me a DM, one of my future guests who I just met, and they were like, "Hey, listen, you have a podcast. I want to be on it." And I thought to myself, I haven't done the podcast in about a year and a half, but you know what? It actually is a good idea that I start having doing a new podcast and having people on. And for those of you listening, my podcast has never had advertisements before. I'm going to start advertising for local businesses, mainly because studio time costs money, and I'm looking for people to help me out with that in exchange for promoting good businesses that I actually enjoy. So, with that being said, all right, G2 Training is proud to offer a 15% discount to all our brothers and sisters in blue. Police officers are near and dear to their hearts, and playing a part of working on and preserving their health benefits is a priority to them. I know George for a long time. George Mifsud, some of you guys out there listening know him. If you recognize him by name, it's probably because he's still active in the NYPD community. He's been an instructor for the past 17 years and now part owner of the Key Promotional School, helping people prepare members of the service pass the promotional exams. He's also the chairman of the board of directors for the finest federal credit union. Unfortunately, throughout his 25-year career with the NYPD, he's seen firsthand how many coworkers, younger and older, battling serious medical conditions resulting in their death or having lived unfulfilled, stressful life. Now he has the opportunity to play a part in helping others live body and soul to their fullest potential through G2 training. The other trainer, Gregorian Meyer, the other G of the G2, has worked for 17 years in health and business and train clients' minds and bodies. Clients make consistent weekly appointments, are led through exercises that strengthen the body inside and out, educated on the importance of nutrition and how living balanced life is priceless. In 2020, his son embarked on a career in law enforcement, graduating in the COVID class and heading out into the streets of New York when so much was uncertain. During the Black Lives Matter movement, stress prevailed, and she saw firsthand the struggles of young officers trying to make time for healthy meals and exercise. Given the stress on the mind and body, it's in this career, it's exercise and nutrition is of paramount importance. And she's right. It is a paramount importance, without a doubt. This is still a work in progress for him. We want to play a part in helping people get it right so they can live a long and healthy life, collect the pension you work so hard for. Make an appointment and show up. Showing up is all you need to do. At G2 Training, they offer strictly one-on-one personal training programs structured toward your goals, as well as nutritional advice. Make a priority to take care of yourself and take care of everyone else as well. You can text them at 516-286-6300 to get started. That's 516-286-6300 to get started. 50% off law enforcement discount. You can also find them on social media at G2 Training Syosset. Please check them out. The other people I want to who also help me out here are Reps for Responders. Is a 501c3 charity. They support the mental health and wellness of first responders, military, law enforcement, EMTs, dispatchers, all that. They're a charity. They help send people to rehabs. They help promote scholarships for fitness and wellness programs. The guy who runs it will be a guest on my podcast in the future. Same with George. He will also be a guest on the podcast in the future. But what Reps for Responders does is they seek to help people. They give scholarships for fitness and nutrition. They actually started right before COVID. They had a private gym. COVID shut that gym down, but they never kept going. They never kept rolling. They have a responder talk every Sunday night, almost every Sunday night. Check them out at repsforresponders.org. They also have a beefsteak coming up, which is I didn't know what a beefsteak was, to be honest with you, until Frank, their owner, told me what it is. It's essentially where it's like a steak cook-off competition, and they get a little piece of steak, they put it on a cracker, and they eat it. I don't know. It's a big-time Jersey thing. I'll pull up the flyer right now for those of you who guys are watching here. It's called the Reps for Responders Beefsteak. It's an $80 donation. It's April 27th from 6 to 10 p.m. Limited seats available. Bloomingdale Fireman's Hall, 97 Hamburg Turnpike, Bloomingdale, New Jersey. For those of you guys on camera, you can see it right here. The focus is a little out of focus, but listen, RFR Beefsteak, check it out. They're a great organization, and they also are sponsoring a roll call through Echelon Front. If everybody knows Echelon Front, Jocko Willing's company, and that is on April 26th, the day before, at the Bergen County Police Academy in Mahwah, New Jersey. Sign up for the roll call and get there. A lot of agencies will give you the job time to go out there, but however, they're not going to pay the money that it costs. It's a little pricey for sure, but it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth hearing these people speak. Echelon Front is a great company, especially when it talks about leadership and the like and things like that. So, what else have I been up to? What are you going to be looking forward to on this podcast in the future? Listen, if you have an idea, a topic you want me to talk about, you want me to discuss, always hit me up. But it's always what I'm thinking of throughout that time period. So, over the last year and a half, I've done some more speaking. When it comes to my job, I've done some public speaking for other agencies, and I do a lot of communicating with people in the community, and I just generally I'm overwhelmed with what I see as far as mindset and mental health is concerned, and there's a lot of people out there who are just in the wrong positions, not only in the places they work, but everywhere, man. And my latest hit has been on LinkedIn. I've been like crushing LinkedIn, and I really just dislike it. For those of you who are out there who are listening, if you've ever been on LinkedIn before, hey, maybe your industry and your business is really good on LinkedIn and it's good for you. But when I go on LinkedIn, I just see a bunch of people kissing each other's asses. That's what I see. I see a bunch of fake, phony fucking people out there. Oh, congratulations to some fucking dude I don't know across the country who may hire me in the future. Okay, great. It's totally fake. And if you're looking for job prospects there, and the problem is that, and the reason business and certain things in whatever industry you work in don't change is because fake people keep hiring fake people, and they can't they don't want to have discussions with real people. They want to just hear what they want to hear, or they want to hear something from somebody who may be more educated than them. And one of those things is the with LinkedIn, how it works is, oh, here's my title and all this stuff, and great. You have a title, you got a degree, you went to college. To me, education is one of the most privileged things that you could possibly have. It's like, oh, I was able to get whatever degree I wanted because I was also able to stay home, and I was also able to um have a family that supported me and all this stuff. And that's not something that's easy to obtain for anybody. Most of us, myself included, after I fucked up college forever, I had to go get a job, and I didn't have the privilege to go out and get my PhD or get any of these things. And this is a lot of people in the real world who have real world experience who are working every single day. They don't have that privilege, but what they do have is they have a wealth of knowledge that some of these people who were educated by a book could never possibly have. But people who work in companies want to see that letter, that title, that certification. Same thing when it comes to personal training. Yes, I have my certified personal training, certificate. What the fuck does that mean? Absolutely nothing. It means that I took a personal training course, that I sat down and I learned about things about the body. I went to a testing center because I have NASM, and I took a test. But there's a lot of personal training certificates where literally they hand you the course and you're able to take an open book test. What the fuck do they learn? Absolutely nothing. So what is a personal training certificate actually worth in the world? Not a fucking thing. It's not. It's just people want to see that because it makes you feel, that, oh, this person may be educated. So, but it means nothing. And unfortunately, a lot of college programs, mental health program, whatever it is, those titles, those certifications, those doctorates, like unless they're practicing, unless they're doing something that they can, you know, prove, they ain't doing shit. All right. And that I'm sorry that, a lot of people might be offended by that, but it's the truth. And just because somebody is educated in a certain part of whatever field it is that they do, doesn't mean that they can do every single piece of that field, especially when dealing with first responders in the first responder community, or any type of employment where there's a specific culture that goes along with um, the job. There's a lot of cultures out there like that in their jobs where there's like a specific culture. And if you're not educated or you're not well versed in that culture, you're never going to fit in and nobody's going to believe you or talk to you or even listen to what the hell you have to say. They're going to be like, who the fuck are you? Who is this person? Oh, this person went to Harvard and they have a PhD. Who fucking gives a shit? Do you know what I do? Do you know what I go through every day? Have you seen what I go through? Do you make the effort? Do you go the extra mile? No, you don't do that. All right, then I don't give a fuck what you got to say. I'm never going to listen to you. In fact, what happens is mostly people will hear what they have to say. And they'll be like, this person's full of shit. I'm going to do the complete opposite. This person has no idea what they're talking about. So that speech has a worse effect than it would be otherwise. Like they're just like, this person's full of shit. I'm going to do the complete opposite advice of what this person said, and it's just whatever. All right. So that's what LinkedIn looks like to me. And I see it every day. I see a bunch of people just kissing each other's asses in hopes that one day they'll hire them in the future and whatever else. And maybe it's just the field that I'm in. I know people who talk like tech and whatever else, and they've had good, things, but like especially in law enforcement, like this is sad news here that I'm about to break to you for law enforcement. But if you are a patrol, like basic bottom of the barrel level police officer, that is not a marketable skill. That is a marketable skill for being a security guard, okay? Or and security guards get paid minimum wage. And you may not want to believe that. You may want to believe that you've developed all of these skills, communication skills, and de-escalate all this stuff. But guess what? There's no proof that you ever developed any of them. And I've worked with cops who have developed them, and I've worked with cops who definitely have not developed a single skill throughout their entire career. Okay. And as far as marketability is concerned, and this is where I talk about the difference between LinkedIn and what is the real world. Yes, you have real world experience. We all know you do. We all know that police have real world experience, but according to LinkedIn and all these like people that you're applying to, they do not give a shit about your real world experience. What they give a shit about is what your marketability is really like. This is why my biggest piece of advice towards people who are first responders and are looking to retire is to develop a skill that does not involve you carrying a badge and a gun. Okay. Develop a skill that makes you more marketable to a different career path than law enforcement. You don't want to be the security guy at Walgreens after you retire and, are collecting you're collecting your pension and you're just standing there doing essentially what is the same job with more risk. Okay. You're doing the same job that you were doing in law enforcement, essentially with more risk because you thought in your head that you were more valuable than you were. And I'm not saying that you're not valuable. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, though, is that in real life, companies do not look at you as valuable as a low. Now, it even goes up the ladder. If you were a in management at any level, sergeant, lieutenant, blah, 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 go all the way straight up the ladder, the only skill that you have then is you were a manager of people. So maybe you could be the security guard manager, or you could be a manager of something else. That's the only skill that proves. That's it. Okay. And that's what they look for. If you were a detective, however, you were an investigator, or if you did some type of investigations and you could prove that you did investigations, then you may get hired by some other type of firm that does some type of investigations, whether that be insurance fraud or whatever else. But do you want to do that for the rest of your life? Half of the people I know who work in squads hate it now already. They can't wait to retire. That's the reason they want to retire, is because they absolutely hate it so much. They can't wait to retire. And then you're going to retire and do investigations for somebody else, getting paid way less money, by the way, for on the most part, way less money. And it's a real job. All right. They're going to want real accountability. We all know that a lot of us, some of us, whether we want to admit it or not, whether you're in the busiest squad or the slowest squad or whatever, you get a lot of downtime. Okay. You get some downtime to at least chill, have a good meal. I mean, we have a lot of good meals. That's why a lot of us look the way we do. Okay. It goes to our waist, it goes to our head, all this stuff. Just make yourself marketable, develop a skill, do something else, go meet people, make connections. Otherwise, you're just going to be another, especially here in the New York metro area. We have so many police departments, so many things where, dude, like you could literally, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. They can get somebody to do your job in security for way less money than you think that you're worth. And I see it all the time, unfortunately. So just know that. Develop a marketable skill, become marketable. Now, something else I wanted to talk about was it's still January, right? It's January 28th. I'm looking at my computer right now. And most of the people I know who started a fitness and nutrition program so far this year, they quit. They're already done. All right. Look, knock it off. Okay. I know how hard it is to develop healthy habits. I know that there's always some party, there's always some excuses, always some weekend coming around. But you're gonna be pissed off at yourself if you don't just continue. If you fucked up already, it's January 28th. That's fine. I fucked up a million times throughout my fitness journey. And I still, I'm like, okay, I fucked up. You acknowledge it, but then you get back on it. You keep trying to do the right thing. Even now, I've been doing this shit for 5, 6 years. I still fuck up. I still eat too much on vacation. I still eat too much pumpkin spice, everything, October, November. And then I'm like, fuck, man. All right, just get back at it. Because if you beat yourself up and you quit over it, you're never going to get healthy. You're never going to feel how you want to feel. And you're never going to, progress. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they start out with a New Year's resolution is they don't really know what they want, right? Or they don't even know how to achieve that goal. Social media plays a huge part in this, is because everybody it looks super ripped and they've always been in shape, and they're going to tell you what to do. Like half these people are on, performance enhancing drugs, and the bottom of the line is like you need to figure out for yourself what works for you for sustainability. And this is why I talked about my program earlier. This is why having a program or anything like that, you don't even have to take that program. I'm not selling it right now. Like, yes, I am selling it, but I'm not selling it in what I'm about to tell you. Is that you have to do what works for you. Whether you buy my program or somebody else's program, I don't give a shit. I genuinely just care about you getting healthy and living a long lasting, fulfilling life. That's what I care about. And you have to develop, and to do that, you have to develop small, slow, healthy habits. What happens is people get those New Year's resolutions, and what they say to themselves is like, I want to lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks. Yeah, bro, ain't gonna fucking happen. And if you did that, you probably get really sick. You probably lose muscle with that. You probably do a lot of adverse health damage to yourself that you wouldn't want to do. That could prohibit you from losing weight in the future. So what happens is you fall short of that goal you put in your head. And what do? You quit. You quit. You don't want to do it anymore. Because you set yourself up for failure. How you got to set yourself up is I just want to make the best progress that I possibly can. I'm going to go to the gym every day. That's a healthy habit. Losing weight, like I want to lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks. That's not a goal. What your goal should be is I would like to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. Say to yourself, not I would like to, I am going to go. I am going to go. This way you rewire your brain into telling yourself that you're going to fucking do it. Don't say I would like to or I might. I am going to go to the gym 3 days a week. That's your goal. Okay. Your goal is to go to the gym 3 days a week for the rest of your life. Okay. There's no end goal. There's no end date. I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week for fucking ever. All right. Because your life is forever until you die. Okay. You have to create healthy habits that go throughout your entire life. All right. You can't just, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do this for a limited time period, because it doesn't work like that. You have to create healthy habits that are long lasting, lifetime healthy habits. This is about your life. Okay. I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. So you go to the gym 3 days a week. All right. You make that your first goal. Then you wind up going to the gym 3 days a week, a couple weeks in a row. Home run. You celebrate it in your brain. You rewire your brain. You trigger that positive dopamine effect. You're like, yeah, man, I've been going to the gym 3 days a week. That's awesome. I've accomplished that. Okay, so then what's the next goal that I'm going to add, or the next habit that I want to go and I want to add? You know what? I'm going to eat more protein every day. I'm going to eat 200 grams or whatever it is that your specific protein goal is a day, every day. I'm going to add that in. Good. So now you're going to the gym 3 days a week. I'm going to eat protein, the right amount of protein every single day. You do those things. Boom, boom, boom. They add up. Those positive habits, you rewired your brain. You want to do more positive things. Oh, you know what? I'm going to start eating less McDonald's, or I'm going to start eating less whatever. Then you add that in, those things. Those are small actionable things that you can actually track that are actually helping you towards the goal that you want, which is to feel better, to look better, to lift more weights, whatever that goal might be. Okay. Those are actionable steps. The problem is we have this, maybe your goal still is to lose 50 pounds. That's great, but that's not the goal that you need to focus on the entire time. Because what happens is if you start focusing on that long-term goal the entire time and you screw up and you mess up, it just seems further and further and further away. Okay. And then the further away it seems, especially if you slip up or you have a mistake or you eat too much one day or you don't go to the gym one day or you make, the further that goal seems impossible. Now you want to quit. However, if you're like, I'm going to go to the gym every day, and then you go Monday, not every day, every other day, we said Monday, you go, Tuesday, you go, Friday, some shit happens, you didn't go. You're like, fuck, I didn't go to the gym. But you know what I did? I went 2 days this week. Next week, I'm going to go 3 days again. Something happened this week. And then what happens is you don't beat yourself up as much because it's 1 out of 3, not the whole thing. Okay. Or let's say you didn't go Friday, go Saturday instead. You give yourself a little flexibility to stack those wins. You want to stack wins. The more positive wins that you have, the more you're going to rewire your brain, the more you want to do positive things. Okay. For those of you who have given up already, please, I beg you. I gave up a million times before I finally decided to think the way that I'm telling you right now. I would go hard January. I'm gonna kill it. But summertime comes around. Because summertime, when we're fat, we feel super uncomfortable, man. And I remember what it was like to be 425 pounds in the summertime, just sitting there sweating. I sweat my fucking ass off. My like literally sweat dripping down, places. All right. Just sitting there, heavy, out of breath, don't feel good. For those of you who are listening right now who are overweight, imagine I could picture this in my head right now, what it felt like. You go out, you're on vacation, it's the summertime, you're in Florida, it's 90 degrees, 97 degrees out there. You go, you have a big breakfast, you got to walk outside for any amount of time. Okay, for those of you who have been there, imagine that feeling. You know what I'm talking about, how uncomfortable it feels to feel full, to feel overweight, to not be able to walk, to be uncomfortable, to be hot, just to be sweating. It feels like shit. All right. You don't want to be that way this summer. Okay. So start now. And this way you'll feel a little bit more comfortable by the time the summer comes. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of times we start during the summer and then we fail that too. Okay. Because we're like, by the end of the summer, I want to lose 100. Dude, it's not going to happen. All right. And I get it. There's anecdotal evidence that people have done it. That people look, look at this guy out here. He lost 100 pounds in a week. Yeah, good for him. Great, he did it. Most people cannot do that. Not only that, it's not healthy. And people love anecdotal evidence. They love to point at the one thing that makes them not have to hold themselves accountable or not stick to the goals. The latest thing that I saw is there was a one guy. He was one guy who decided that he was going to lower his cholesterol by eating Oreos. We've all seen this video. A lot of us have seen this video. And now everybody's like, oh, I could lower my cholesterol by eating Oreos. Yeah, okay. That's great that guy fucking did that. But that's not going to work for most people. Okay. The same way we look at, hey, my grandmother, they lived to 172 and they fucking smoked 12 packs of cigarettes every day. Well, that's not the norm. Most people get lung cancer. Most people fucking die. Most people have adverse health effects. Same thing when it comes to drinking. People are like, oh, alcohol can't be bad. My Uncle Larry lived to 102 and he had 46 beers a day. That is a rarity. Those people are outliers. Most people die. Most people get very sick. Most people get cancer. Most people get things that are attached to these bad habits. Okay. And that's the science. That's the data behind it. But what happens is we look at these outliers to justify our own fucking bad behavior. And unfortunately, it doesn't do us any good. So there's that. One of the biggest reasons that people quit also is peer pressure. They get in the groove, they're doing it, and they get peer pressure by somebody at work. Even now, I have people who reach out to me and they tell me things, and or they try to get me to eat the cookie. Oh, just eat the cookie. Just do this. Just do that. Whatever. Like, dude. First of all, if you're doing that to people, you're a dick. That's number one. Number two, you shouldn't be doing that to people. You shouldn't try to be sabotage them. And people are going to try and sabotage you sometimes on purpose, sometimes not on purpose. They don't even realize they're doing it. But you have to develop that willpower that your goal, that your what you want to do is way more powerful than that. And that your goal is more important than having that temporary reward of that cookie. And one of the things I love is when we start doing any type of program that's difficult or there's a change attached to it, we develop this mindset and this attitude where it says, "Oh, I deserve it." Oh, you deserve what? You did 5 days of good eating out, and the last, I don't know, 7,000 days of your life, you didn't. You didn't. You already lived the reward. Now it's time that you have to live a little bit of discipline. And I'm not saying you can never reward yourself, but after 5 days, just because you made one good decision, you get a reward. And listen, we do this as a culture, culturally. It's not just with fitness. We accomplish anything. Oh, little Nancy graduated fourth grade. We're gonna go out and we're gonna have a party, and we're all gonna have 12 slices of pizza and cake. Like fourth grade, like why are we having a party for fourth grade? Listen, if you do that, fine. But like the problem is we celebrate everything. We celebrate absolutely everything, and then we celebrate it with food. We celebrate it with liquor. We celebrate it with bad habits. Go do something fun. Hey, you know what? Susie graduated fourth grade. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the amusement park. We're gonna have a good day at the amusement. We're gonna go to the aquarium. We're gonna go have a good time instead. We're gonna go do something. We're gonna leave the house. You know, that is a better reward. That is a better idea than just continuously eating and doing things. So there's that. The last thing I want to say before I close this is, as always, thank you all for rocking with me. I love being able to communicate with you guys every single day. I answer every DM out there while I can, and I genuinely look to help people. So if you ever have any questions, please always reach out to me. Don't send me political shit. I literally will ignore you. I have people who just hit my inbox almost every single day with political things, and like I have them on ignore. I ignore you. So unfortunately, what happens is I miss, maybe if they message me something important, I'm gonna miss it because they just can't. Like you follow me. I've talked to you about it before, and I tell you how poisonous it is to constantly fill your brain with politics and things that make you angry. Well, listen, if you try to fill my brain with that shit, I'm going to ignore you because I do not need your nonsense in my brain. And we all need to look at things that way. We all have friends that constantly feel, and this is why relationships are so important. We all have friends in our lives who are a certain type of way. They're dicks, they're poisoners, they just can't get out of their own way. You got to set boundaries with these people and just let them know, yo, dude, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be there. I'm not coming. Whatever that boundary is, you have to set that boundary. I don't care if it's your family member. You tell them, I don't want to do that. I don't like the way you're treating me. I don't like the way you're treating yourself. I can't be around you right now. I don't want to get these messages, whatever. Yeah. You know what? It's mean. It's a difficult conversation to have. But at the end of the day, you got to be a number one priority. You got to advocate for yourself because nobody's going to advocate for you. Not a single person. And the person that you're talking to, who you are advocating for, who you are bending over backwards, ruining your brain, ruining your body for, bro, they don't give a fuck about you. Because if they did, then they would let you be who you were. They would, they would understand that you were trying to do something else. So always advocate for yourself and be your own person. So that wraps up this newest installment of the Notorious HFL podcast. I will see you guys next week for the first in studio Notorious HFL podcast, and my guest will be my buddy Nick Karolakis. You guys know him, a very special guy, one of my best friends, and just an all-around good dude who really cares about people, really cares about the mental health aspect of how people live every day. Positive person, knows a lot about supplementation, and I can't wait to talk to him and get him in the studio. I hope you guys tune in. If there's any guests out there that want to be a guest, please hit me up. I would love to have you on. I don't just want to have cops on. I don't just want to have fitness people on. I want to have everybody on. Okay. I want to have people that would be interesting and have an interesting story that I can have an interesting conversation with because there's so many fucking boring conversations out there being had. And unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like I'm a cop. So a lot of people in my circle are cops. I work out, so a lot of people I are in my circle that uh, talk about nutrition and fitness and stuff, and that's cool that you're into fitness and nutrition. But like, no offense, if you're an IFBB pro out there, but you're not interested, you got nothing else to say. I don't give a shit. Okay, if you have a weight loss journey and that's all your whole personality, and you got nothing else to say, like, cool. I appreciate that you lost weight. I appreciate that you're an IFBB, but like, dude, if you got nothing else to say, if you're not interesting, if you don't want to share things, you don't want to share details of your life, or you don't want to help people, dude, I don't give a shit, honestly. And like, that's why you see a lot of these like bodybuilders, fitness people, people who lose weight, they constantly post the same fucking content over and over again. Oh, here's a picture of me with my shirt off. Here's a transformation picture. Yo, because you got nothing else. You got nothing else to say. All right. And like, unfortunately, that's what a lot of this stuff is. So I'm looking for interesting people, business owners, people who have a good story, people who, whoever it is. All right. Um, so that's it, guys. See you next week. I appreciate you. I love every single one of you. Peace.